I'm a little knackered, Lee. So you're gonna have to carry this one.
You see, that fills me with a certain amount of dread because
You got
I'm
nothing.
a lot knackered.
Oh,
My head is empty. I am now 10 days into living by myself, except for Jeffrey, and also 7 days into working entirely from home. So I have not had any human companionship.
so should we
this
just
month.
should we just stop this now, and then it'll be a surprise episode for people on Wednesday. This is a podcast in which two friends talk about the pleasures, absurdities, and imperfections of being human. I'm Simon Ellis.
And I'm Lee Miller. Welcome to Midlifing. You know how it's really boring to talk about people's dreams? I dreamt about you this week.
Did you? Was it a little bit?
No. I'm really sorry. I'm not laughing. I'm laughing because of the awkwardness. You died, and I got really upset because I didn't know how to upload the the episode to tell everybody you were dead. So that was I had this anxiety dream that I wouldn't be able to tell people.
So that is an important thing, isn't it? You need to know how to, because I reckon I can figure out how to edit. I've done plenty of editing in my time. But do you think you'd be okay choosing show title? Yep, you'd be good. But yes,
fine. Well, it'll be a fairly short show title because I would have been presumably just making announcements rather than trying to.
Yes, Simon is dead. Well, Simon joined my mother's spreadsheet before she did.
Oh.
But we're not going to talk about dreams.
No, we're not going to talk about dreams. Instead, we're going to talk about microdosing psilocybin. Or we're going to talk about pumping raw sewage into the sea. I don't know why I'm laughing about that one. Or we're going to talk about heating crisis.
Wow.
These are the things that have managed to puncture the veil of my focus this week to manage to get in.
I'm just looking through my list of possible things to talk about on midlifing.
What's wrong with psilocybin?
Well, it seems like psilocybin is today's cure-all.
Yeah. Have you ever been tempted by psychedelics?
I've taken acid.
Okay.
That was an interesting experience.
And was it a one-off, or was it something that you thought, this has opened the doorways to perception, etc., etc.?
It was a one-off. Not because I didn't have a pretty wild time, but because I'm so pragmatic about those things. Because, of course, it's not like you just, because you're just wired the whole time. And so then the kind of the coming down, or effectively, I guess, the hangover, it just goes on and on. And so I guess that's less for people who take them a little more often. And so just the pragmatic aspect of me is, how am I gonna start work on Monday?
You see, I think that's why people are excited about the idea of the microdose.
Right.
Although I was reading something that suggested that microdosing was actually not effective, and it was just a what's-a-majig, a placebo.
Yeah, no, sort of psilocybin, that's how you say it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the one from the mushrooms.
Yes, I watched that fantastic, as the Americans say, fungi film, that documentary. I mean, mushrooms, fungi are bloody extraordinary. Clearly.
They're pretty super awesome, aren't they? Really? I mean, there's not much to complain about.
Two middle-aged academics talking about mushrooms, which they know nothing about.
Well, we know they're rhizomatic. We know that they're
You could talk about Deleuze and
delightful.
Guattari.
Oh, I'm not going to do that.
It must be a little
I'm
tempting.
going to leave my body without organs where it belongs, which is in. I'm sorry, everybody. That was a D&G reference, and I feel a little bit shit about
It was a D&G dad joke, basically.
It really was. I've done my best post-structuralist joke ever on the podcast before. Haven't
You
I?
have, yeah. And I don't think it bears telling twice. I think, I think,
It really
I
does.
think if
This is
people
so
are really
funny.
keen to listen to it, they should go back to one of the early episodes.
Yeah, just go and find it.
One of the first 10. It'll just appear out of nowhere, and you'll think, there's a few
it wasn't
minutes
worth
of
going
my
back
life
for.
wasted.
Tell me, why are you tired today, Simon?
Because
If it's not from the microdosing.
well, I've had a big week. I've worked a lot, and then today, when I should have been working, we went to Oxford to have a walk along the river and have a picnic with some friends. Not you and Bob.
No, but friends that I know.
Do you?
I don't know. I'm just assuming that you only know one lot of people in Oxford.
No, they're not from Oxford. One person came from London, who you don't know.
I do not
and
know
then
them then.
two people came from just out of Didcot Parkway, and you don't know them either.
I thought you were talking
I
about our
know.
mutual friends who live in Oxford or just outside of
No,
Oxford.
they were going to come, but
They decided they didn't want to spend time with you. Well, it's okay.
I
Just
think
move on. We won't dwell on it.
I'm not going to say that that's the reason, but that's now that you've planted the seed rhizomatically.
I don't think you can plant a rhizomatic seed. I don't know that there is a seed involved. I think it would be a spore.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, that would be a spore for a mushroom, of course. But a potato could be a rhizome, so you get seed potatoes. So I take it back. I could have planted a rhizomatic seed. If it was a potato of doubt in your head, I did indeed plant a seed.
A potato of doubt in your head. I wonder if that could be a show title. All I'm going to do in this episode, because we should finish soon. I think we've talked enough. But anyway, it was lovely. We took things for a picnic because we decided it was a kind of a joint birthday for people who'd had birthdays and for people who are about to have birthdays. And
That would be you. Just had your birthday. You
That's
had your
right.
birthday 3 days ago.
So yes, and we gave out. Lil had made a cake, and we gave out cake in order of people's birthdays. So I got mine second.
Oh, I like that.
I know, and there are a couple of people who got birthday cake who haven't had their birthdays yet. So they were They were futurists.
So that was paid forward. Did the
Paid forward.
people who had the cakes given to them, were they not only ordered in relationship to when the birthdays were they also sized?
No, but that would have been great. And I think sizing should have happened based on who was
Age.
exactly.
Yes,
The
yes.
oldest should get the biggest.
The oldest should get half the cake.
Because I am in that group of people. I think I am 4 years older than the next person.
Ooh, so there was a 50-year-old there.
Just about 50, like in the next
Just about 50.
next couple of weeks. So yeah,
Cosmo.
I was the mature person holding the group together in that.
You were holding the group's handbags while they were all microdosing psilocybin.
Exactly.
Cool.
But it was lovely. But it was we had some prosecco by the river, and then any kind of just having a little bit of drink like that. I just crashed. I just slept on the train there before, and then slept on the train back. So I'm exhausted. But and also because Tuesday had my birthday, and so we had an extra large meal, and so yeah, it's been a busy, hectic week. And work. I mean, work happens, doesn't it?
Work happens, and you and I are probably the two academics who are still standing during these crazy days of late August where everybody seems to be on leave.
Which is great in terms of, again, switch this off now, number of emails received, isn't it? Oh, I have a, wait.
What?
Wait.
Have you got a fart brewing? I thought you were just going to do a massive fart into the microphone for a giggle. You kind of want to, don't you?
No, I really don't. That's what trains.
You don't want to, or you don't have one.
I don't want to, and that's what trains are for.
Is this because people are too loud and you?
That's what elevators are for.
Oh, Simon, that's horrible.
It is, isn't it?
Anyway, why am I waiting if it's not for?
Because I just thought I'd found something that we could talk about. But it seems like a bit subject normal, actually.
Oh God, is it more like?
Oh, here we go. Go.
People doing shitty things to one another, and then us getting cross about it, like Liz Truss deciding that it's a good idea to say.
Who's Liz Truss?
Liz Truss is one of the people who is deciding that she would quite like to be the leader of the Conservative Party and therefore our next Prime Minister because the political system in the UK is broken. And she was asked something about France, and she said, "Well, it's yet to be decided if France are our friends or our enemies." And it's like, hang about,
yeah,
enemies.
It's strange language to use, isn't it?
Enemies.
Yeah,
that's quite literally fighting talk.
It's very strange, especially after you've just left the European Union, and it's not like, have there ever been any wars between France and England? No. I mean, William the Conqueror.
Yeah, I just think it's really odd that our closest neighbour. I suppose, I don't know. Is Ireland our closest neighbour? I don't know geographically.
Depends on which part of the UK you're in, I suspect.
Well, yes, it's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
but
sure there are people in the Outer Hebrides who are saying, "Oh, it's Norway."
Our closest neighbours who speak a different language.
But yeah, it just seems a strange thing. But I guess it's about posturing and trying to play to the home base of xenophobes, racists, and people who
isolationists
to shout.
Also, that kind of sense that just what a great nation.
We're an island.
It's called.
We're an island.
That's right. It's Great Britain. It's not mediocre Britain.
I don't know. All evidence to the contrary as we pump our shit into the sea.
Wow, that's hard. It's hard. It's hard looking at the news, isn't it? I mean, I'm sorry, listeners, but it is a...
Yeah, it is a hard listen right now, everybody, but it feels like it's... Yeah.
And so what's your relationship to that, in the sense that do you just get angry, or then what? Like, do you dismiss it, or do you go, I'm just not going to look at it? Like, how is it that, like, what is it that we do? What is it that we should do? Give me some advice. I want your advice.
You are asking the wrong person.
Great. Can you get someone else on then? Jeffrey.
Well, Jeffrey's response is to get conjunctivitis and need to go to the vets today.
Is that? Oh no! So that's about swimming in the turd-filled rivers, right?
No, that's about getting a little bit of. They think it's probably from pollen and grass dust because it's been so dry. So his eyes have just gotten bits. Yeah.
Povero,
so anyway.
Povero.
But he did have some lovely dye dropped into his eye to make sure that he didn't have any scratching on the surface of his eyeball. Yeah, and and it made his tears and his snot go luminous green.
Oh.
It was really fun.
Fun for you.
Dog dad stories. Let's not ask Jeffrey what he thinks about the news because he hasn't been reading it because he's not been able to see very well. And
but it's funny though. It is funny to think about the enemy though. I just want to, because the thing I was looking at on my list of possible things to talk about, which, just to be clear, listeners, this is not a plan. It's basically labelled midlifing if desperate. And here it is. Writer Jean Knudsen Hoffman says, an enemy is one whose story we have not heard. It's hard to feel dehumanizing disgust for people you know personally. Less hard when you rarely see your enemies in person, and even less hard when destructive cherry-picking teaches you only the worst of the worst about them. And so, to me, it is extraordinary that this person, Liz Truss, would use that word. It's mind-boggling, actually.
yeah.
Because these are not. It is a kind of way, isn't it? It's alienating. It's distancing.
Yeah.
It's creating. It's this. That's what I mean. It's subject normal. It's othering.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bob and I were talking about this earlier on today, and she's in Lisbon, so she's in the capital city of another country, and I've never felt more jealous of her because she's just wandering around and
Being European.
and it feels so very, very far away at the moment because I think of discourse, and I think because in answer to your question, how should we cope with news stories that, about the escalating cost?
Yes, I was
of
treating you as an
living?
agony uncle.
Yeah. And just the number of people, elderly people who have limited incomes saying, there's a woman being interviewed in the newspaper today saying, I think she's 80. I'd be better off dead than having to deal with how much it's going to cost me. And you just find yourself going, how have we got here? Also, how have we got here where it feels like saying, I think pumping raw sewage into the sea is a bad thing feels like a radical political statement.
So you're in the land of helplessness there, aren't you?
I think I am. I think I feel helpless. It's like the size of the it's maybe not just the size and
It's
the
the
scale
quantity
of the
and
problem.
quality, isn't it?
Yeah, it just feels like the I mean, like the Liz Truss thing and the enemy it's so piffling. It's such a nonsense. It doesn't matter. But
Well, it is playing to a base, isn't it? It's basically
exactly.
saying it's the equivalent of Mexicans are rapists out of the mouth of the orange one back in 2015 or 16 or whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly.
Not that I'm othering orange people, just to be clear.
Some of your best friends are Oompa Loompas. I know. I think.
Cue Oompa Loompa song. Insert it here.
We don't have the rights.
No. Come on, just a little bit.
I think that the helplessness is coming from it feels like somebody's putting eggs in my basket at a faster rate than I can take them out. I don't know. I don't know what to. Yeah.
So I think there's enough context there for listeners, right? There's a cost of living crisis. It seems like in this country, and Boris Johnson, who is still the Prime Minister in name, except when he's in Ukraine, where he's sealing his legacy as the great supporter of the Ukraine, where he just blames Russia for this crisis. And there's no question that that's a part of what's going on. But and it looks like, the cost of power in this country is going to go up. What is it, 300%? Or it's like they're large numbers.
Really, really huge increases.
And so just on the tail end of the pandemic, where a lot of small businesses have just sort of soldiered on, it's like the final nail in the coffin. And then there, of course, as Lee's alluding to, people who are so on the breadline that they're at serious risk. And, it's depending on the newspaper you read, there's certainly the risk of people dying as a consequence of this crisis. It's pretty dark times, it's true. And it's it's funny because the thing that Boris Johnson, clearly very charismatic, to some people, or to the vast majority of the country, really, and because it wasn't really the party they were voting for, more so for him. So it's that kind of a sort of cult of personality, but also he seemed to provide a very clear resolution for people disaffected or people frustrated by the willy-won't-he Brexit, the sort of situation coming out of the end of the period of time post-voting, post-referendum vote. He sort of provided glue, in a way, for, as they say, getting Brexit done, because Brexit is Brexit and all that kind of rhetoric. So he muddied the left-right water in a way that I suspect will become clearer or demudify once Liz is fully ensconced in number 10.
I just get and this is why you did the wrong thing asking me what I do about news, because clearly it goes in, but it doesn't go in well enough. Because it's I'm trying to avoid the word triggers because I don't want to sound I don't want to sound
Just
like
say
that.
the vibe is bad. Just use the word vibe, I reckon. Like,
Yeah,
it gives you a
okay.
bad vibe.
It gives me it gives me such a bad vibe. I feel so jangly.
Jangly's much better.
I feel so jangly. I can't get to the end of anything at the minute. My attention span has vanished.
Hang on, just going to scratch you off my list of people to talk to after a bad week. Hang on, wait. Okay. You're officially relieved of any duties of.
I want everybody to know I am the best person to talk to if you, as an individual, have had a bad week about something specific connected to your life.
But
my voice drops into that nice chest resonant place, and I just go, "Sweetheart, do you need a cuddle? Go on, tell me what you need."
I'm laughing
so
because
sorry.
you've done that to me so much in the recent months. Like,
I am built.
it's like you're acting.
No. The thing is, it is entirely sincere. It's a skill set I have to utilize my entire body to be with a person who is struggling. And
Could you do a Sean Connery version of taking care of someone?
No, because that would be acting.
No.
Simon, tell me. That was awful. I'm so sorry. Is Sean Connery dead? He is. He's on my mum's spreadsheet. Right.
Yeah. We need to. Do you think your mum could share the spreadsheet with us? It would be good to have a sort of so that we don't have to keep checking with her.
Well, I've asked her to publish it to the cloud, but she just she doesn't trust online service. She does everything longhand with a ruler.
I mean, it's in by the way, the other part of the same piece of text that I was, in fact, before it is this: if you're thinking about politics without regularly asking yourself, what does this look, feel like to the people I don't know, you're going to get a lot of things wrong, which ultimately makes you less politically effective. And I really, really, really like that. Like there's an opportunity here, which is away from helplessness, which is to keep asking ourselves the question, what does it look or feel like this situation to people I don't know? And this is the terrible thing, isn't it, about silos and bubbles and tribalism and even the suburbs we live in, which are fancy suburbs compared to the ones next to them, and all that stuff, which is a way of isolating ourselves from people we don't know, and inevitably not being able to even imagine the lives of other people.
Yeah, I think that's where probably at the moment British media is doing quite a good job of reaching out to people who are who are not my next door neighbour.
Yeah, right.
I am hearing stories from people from young parents, from old people who are on a very limited fixed income in rental accommodation. You know, I am hearing those stories about panic at this point in August when it is still boiling hot outside. You know, we are a long way and about 20 degrees away from the winter.
It's going to be pretty.
And that's
cruel,
if it's a mild winter. You know, if we hover around the 3 degrees, it's a mild winter. And the last couple of years, because of the global climate catastrophe, it has been. But sod's law. It'll be one where we have a bounce back to the minus temperatures, and people will die.
I just have to ask then, this is not an easy question because I don't know but if you feel helpless, then what does your responsibility become? All right, piss off.
All right, I'm going to...
Wait. I'm stopping.